Hi everyone, this is Tanya from Flying Dog Studio. Thank you so much for joining me in this mini watercolor book that I'm working on for Inktober. Now, I thought the theme might be flowers since we had a beautiful garden this summer with all sorts of flowers and the butterflies and the hummingbirds loved it. So for this first piece, I'm actually drawing this flower that is coming up in just a second. So if you want to make a mini watercolor book, I will leave that link below so you can make one as well. So I have my mini watercolor book. I'm using a 0.5 mechanical pencil. And then I have my regular plastic eraser I always use. I'm using a couple of microns, and these are 0.01. I have a light gray and then I have a dark gray, and I don't use black. I might do that in some future ones, but for these I'm actually going to be using either browns or grays, and I'm starting in my very first page of my book. So I'm just going to sketch it out here, and I always start with the sketch, and I like to start with this 0.5 pencil first because it is a very small lead. It's not as small as you can go. I'm thinking about getting a 0.3, but the 0.5 is working for me. And this is my husband's pencil actually, and I think it's an H lead that is in the pencil. Now you're going to see, in order to really get those contour lines in, I'm going to be picking up my mechanical pencil, which is a 0.9. And I believe that is an HB lead. But you can do Inktober however you want to. As you can see, if you're doing Inktober, I'm not following the prompts. I wanted to do my own thing, and this is what I'm doing because I will not be drawing every single day. I have physical limitations, so with my arthritis and fibromyalgia, I simply cannot draw and paint every single day, which I hate, but at least I am able to do some of the things for Inktober. So since I couldn't follow along every day, I decided to do my own thing and do the flowers that are in our garden. So as you can see, I start off with a gesture drawing, getting some of the main shapes in, and I'm just looking for shape. Not trying to make it perfect, just working on shape. And now I'm coming back with that 0.9 that I mentioned earlier, and I am going around and kind of zeroing in on the actual contours that I want for the piece. And the final step will be to come in and use one of my liner pens and go around the main lines, and then to get all the shadows in, I'm going to be doing some cross hatching. So I'm going to just be quiet for a few minutes and you can watch me draw. All right, as you can see, I've been working on the outside contour lines for this flower, and I'm not doing a solid line. I'm also keeping this pen sort of sketchy, just like I did the pencil. Now, it's a more solid line than the pencil, but I don't want it to be just a straight, hard line. I want to allow a little movement. I want it to be a little organic, like the flower's organic, so that's what I'm doing here. So far in this piece, I have been using that darker gray pen to get everything lined in, and now I'm doing the hatching and the cross hatching. Some people like to actually shade like back and forth like you would shade with a pencil when they use pens. I'm actually lifting my pen up each time I make a movement so that I get tiny lines right beside each other. And I'm starting with the darker pen because I want to get some dark shadows in but I will come back in areas where we have a little bit lighter shade on the piece, and I will use the gray pencil, the light gray pencil, to get those marks in. Now that I have all of the drawing in and I've done all of the dark hatching and cross hatching, I'm coming back and I'm erasing all of my pencil lines. And it looks like I'm doing this pretty hard, but I'm actually not. I've speeded this up so it looks like it's hard, but it's not hard that I'm bearing down. So now I'm coming back, as I said earlier, with that light gray pen, and I'm going to get in all of those lighter shadows that I see in the piece. I'm almost finished with the piece, and I really wanted to add watercolor to this, and I did. And you're going to see that in a future video, because when I finished the drawing, I was, as we say in my house, moderately content with it, and I thought, I really want to add watercolor. So I got out my watercolors and I painted it, and I hated it to the point I wanted to rip it out of this sketchbook. I didn't. My daughter said don't, so I didn't. But I'm going to do a video about why I did not like the piece once I colored it, and that pen right there is the reason I did not like it. So I hope you'll join me for that video. That's coming up in about a week. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, please put those down below, and thanks so much for watching.